All right, so I figured I would do a quick demo this evening on React hooks. It's very new. It's still in the RFC proposal phase, so it's still experimental. I wouldn't necessarily use this in production yet, but this is something that was announced at ReactConf last week, and I've just been tinkering around with it a little bit, and I figured I would share what I've learned so far. So basically, in a nutshell, uh, the Hooks proposal will let you write, um, uh, let you share functionality across components, and also let you use state and things like that you used to have to use lifecycle methods for and things like that. It'll let you use those in function components instead of having to write a class component for those for that kind of functionality. And so it's going to expand the. I don't really even fully know exactly the implications and the impact this is going to have, but it's definitely going to expand the horizons, I think, of what's possible, or at least what's more maybe doable or more easily doable in React. And so it's pretty exciting. It's brand new, and so I've just started diving into it. If you want to read all about it, you can go to the React docs, and you can actually search for React hooks, or you can go to reactjs.org/docs/hooks-intro.html and check it out. So yeah, I figured what we would do real quick is just dive in and open up a code sandbox and just build a quick toggle component using the most basic hook that's integrated in React, which is useState, which allows you to use state without being in a class component. And there's other hooks, and there's also the ability to create your own custom hooks, and there's a lot of little libraries that have been popping up over the past week, kind of based around that idea. And so I'm just kind of dipping my feet in here, and figured we would just start off with a basic implementation of useState. So let's dive in here. I'm going to open up a code sandbox for React, and the first thing we have to do is this is in the 16.7 alpha build, so we're going to need to change our version. So we're going to go to React and change this to 16.7 and click there, and then we'll also do the same for React DOM. So let's say add dependency, and we will change this to 16.7 alpha. Click there. All right, now we can import useState. So what this will allow us to do is, in this function component, whereas used to, if we wanted to have some state for maybe if we were going to be able to toggle or something like that, we would need to actually build a class component. Well, now in this function component, we can say const, and I'm going to come back to that in a second, and we'll say equals useState. And so what useState does is, we can actually look at the docs. Let's say useState. Okay. This should be on the next one. Yeah, so the useState hook will basically allow you to set an initial value, and it will return the initial value you set, and it'll also return a function to set that state or update that state. And so the way this works is here, say, since this is a toggle, we'll probably just do a Boolean. You can do pretty much any, or I think any JavaScript primitive here. So I'm just going to say false, because that's going to be the initial value, and it's going to return the initial value is going to be the first index of the array it returns, and so I'm just going to set that to toggled, and then the function is going to update that state is going to be the second index that it returns, and so you can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call it toggle. And then down here, we're just going to clear this out. And the first thing I'm going to do is let's make a button. Or let's start with what we want to toggle. Let's see. How about sunshine? It was a cloudy day today. I really wanted the sunshine. So let's toggle a, let's do a inline conditional and say toggled, and we will say return, let's see, we'll use the new fragment syntax from Babel 7. If you're not familiar with that, this is basically react.fragment, but now we don't actually have to import the fragment component from React. Babel 7 will just automatically take this and it knows what to do with it. So let's see, I'm going to return some sunshine. And how about a sun with a face? That sounds great. Let's see, how about some sunglasses? I wish I needed to wear some sunglasses. And poop, because I have to poop every day. So cool. All right. So if I hit save, nothing's going to be there because obviously we are not toggled yet, so that's false. But now what I'm going to do is actually build a button here. So we'll say, and I'll go ahead and make a little space here just for visual purposes. And what we'll do is we'll say, give me sunshine. All right, and this will be an on click handler, and we will say on click we want to fire that toggle function that useState gave us back, so we can update that state. So we'll say toggle, and this is going to give us access to the previous state value. So we can say toggled, and then it'll be an arrow function, and we'll just do the opposite of toggled. Okay, and oh, and I'm returning multiple things now. So let's do a fragment syntax so it won't yell at me, and we'll say give me sunshine, and now we have some sunshine. And that's it. So this was, if we were to rewrite this in a class syntax, just to show the difference of how much code it would be. So we'd say, class toggle component, whatever you want to call it, extends react.component, and we'd have to say, okay, we want to use some state, and we would say toggled is false, and then down here we have the render method, and then we would return, let's see, return basically this. We would want to get the toggled out of this .state, and let's see what else. Oh yeah, and we would also need the toggle function. So let's see, we have to actually create that. So we would say toggle equals arrow function, and we would just say this dot. And this is if I was doing a verbatim copy. Obviously, you could just set the state in the render if you wanted to, or whatever. But if I was going to do exactly what I did here, then I would say this dot set state, and I would do a arrow function here. I'd return an object, and I'd say toggled is see previous state dot toggled, and yeah, that's going to be the previous state, I believe. I always get messed up on that syntax. So yeah, then we'd also have to come down here, and we'd have to say, this dot toggled. Yeah, so it's it's significantly more readable, in my opinion. And also there's some stuff like prepack and stuff like that that's coming out where or I think the Facebook team is working on, that's saying, hey, it might be easier to optimize some of this code if it's just functions instead of classes. And so I don't know all the ins and outs of why you would want to get away from classes, but it does seem like a lot of people do want to get away from them. I'm no expert there, so don't listen to me. But if you're curious on what a hook even is, hopefully this will help you understand a little bit. And this is all it takes to build your first hook power component. So it's pretty cool. We have state in a function component. We can now have a new type of component called the stateful functional component, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I think that's it. If I can help at all with anything, or if I said something stupid or wrong, let me know. I'm sure you will. And have a good one.